Greetings, everyone. It is Dominic Amos, COM 4310 video diary in regards to chapters 6, 7, and 8, I believe. I'm going to get right into it because I'm pressed for time. It's 10:58. I've had an extremely busy week and weekend with midterms and my children, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, I'm just going to get to it. Good evening, everybody. What is critical theory? Critical theory is based on the work of Karl Marx, and I'm looking at my notes, several pages of notes. It's based on the work of Karl Marx. Critical theories view organization as a site of domination where the interests of the dominant group, typically the owners or the managers, are elevated above the interests of the subordinate group, which is typically the employees. How do I understand this in the workplace? It happens a lot in the workplace. A lot of people, and I'm actually taking Dr. Murray for another class. It's leadership and organization in the workplace. So this is a leadership, organizational communication, and basically the two are intertwined because a lot of people feel that the best way to run an organization or to be a leader is by making sure that the top people, or in this case the dominant groups, have everything that they need and or whatever. But it really works from the bottom up, because those who are working employees who are out there grinding every day are the ones that know what it actually takes. You know the fundamentals of your organization, but to actually the functioning of it, most people don't know. How do I understand power? The possibility of imposing one's will upon another person's behavior on another person, and that is power, and that could be positive or negative. If I have a positive type of power, positively influencing others, then that's a great power to have, because I am imposing positivity. Versus most of the time we hear power, we think of it as negative, and that's only because history has shown, I mean, even right now shows, when you give people a little bit of power, it goes to their head, and they take advantage of people. They start doing any and everything for money. I see a glare on my glasses, so I'm going to take those off. They do any and everything for money. It just becomes real bad when somebody has power, because when you have power, you are in the position, like the book explains. Now I can't see. You are in the position of imposing your behaviors. So if your power is negative, then you are imposing negativity. How do we understand hegemony? One group actively supports the goals and aspirations of another dominant group, even though those goals may not be in the subordinate group's best interest. And that happens every day. That happens all the time. I work in the middle school. Peer pressure, bullying. How do we understand it? And it's basically, especially in the workplace or the organization, it's basically cliques, sometimes at the top level. Conservative controlled, adhering to socially constructed norms and values developed by organizational members themselves as they attempt to structure their environment. So in regards to the first question about critical theory and power and everything in the workplace, it's deep in the workplace. If you don't know who you are or your purpose for being where you are, then you can't get lost in the flow chart and the flow of the business. So the Emma Watson video, the advocate for gender equality, the He for She campaign, I thought it was beautiful. And I get it. And one thing she said in the video is that there's no country in this world that has channeled or finally came to a full understanding of gender equality. And that was kind of hard hit, because it was like, wow, no country. Now, that doesn't mean certain businesses and organizations don't have gender equality, but in America, there are millions and billions of companies and organizations. So we only have 1,000 businesses who have gender equality. As a whole, as a country, we still have not reached gender equality. Feminism, men and women have equal rights, and she explained that as it's not just men's rights or women's right, it's human rights. And I totally agree. It was always a fear of mine, knowing that no matter how smart I am, how much wisdom or knowledge that I have, or how outgoing I may be, I would never be treated like a male. I would never be treated or paid, for that matter, as a male would. That was always a fear of mine, but now it don't bother me anymore. I just do what I do, and I know my heart is in the right place. I get paid for what I do on the back end. That doesn't bother me. Have you misrepresented yourself too well when applying or interviewing for a job? Yeah, I have. I've quote unquote dummied myself down because I've been on interviews before and I did not get a job because they'll say, "Oh, you're too qualified," or "This job is too good for you," and I'm like, "Bro, I'm just trying to get a job." And and then there are times I've been in the job or interview and I've just, like I said, just like I didn't know, just so I can get a job, because at that moment I just needed a job, something to pay my bills, take care of my family. And I've been turned down several times. Have you ever been hired and they misrepresented your role? Yep, I've been. One position I just left not too long ago. I didn't leave it, I was promoted. But yeah, I was told that the job was going to be this. That's it. And you come in, you do that. And I was like, yay. And then I get there and it's like 1,000 extra duties. Like, really? Why would applicants embellish their applications? Um, I've done it. I'm sure we've all done it. Not purposely, but sometimes you may not have the credentials to do something, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. In a lot of jobs, you have to be certified and qualified and have 3 years experience in this and 4 years experience in that. When truth of the matter is, there are people with degrees, certified, licensed, or whatever, and they can't do their job. So, and I say that all the time, and I shouldn't say that, but I mean, I know some certified teachers who can't teach, but they're certified. And I love teaching and being in front of children and taking the aspect of something this big, this small, so that they can understand it and bringing it down to that level. I love it. I'm not certified yet, but that doesn't mean I can't teach. So on the application, if I wanted a job, I would embellish, because I can do it. I may not be certified, licensed, or whatever at this time, but I can do it. And that's something I wish would change. But anyway, what perception would a potential employer have if they Googled your name? I don't know. It wasn't until I saw this question that I Googled my name. I did it years ago, years ago, but nothing came up. And once again, this technology fad and all this is kind of just really sweeping the scene, within the past 10 years or so. But I actually Googled my name before I did this video diary, and nothing came up. I'm a pretty decent person. It wouldn't bother me. One thing I know about working for the school district is that they do look at your Facebook and things like that. So I'm always very cautious. I represent my family. I have 5 children, a husband. I'm just not living a careless life where I'm going to do something that will embarrass them or myself. So that part I'm not worried about. The case study on lesson learned, OMG, I've been in that predicament so many times, where you have to almost pull teeth to get somebody to make a decision, and everybody across the table is twiddling their thumbs. Nobody wants to say anything, and I have to be very, very careful, because it's a thin line, almost a gray invisible line, when I'm in meetings and workplaces, because I'm the type I like to get stuff done. And when you have the top load, or people who have the power because they're certified and it's just a little paraprofessional like myself, see a problem, you're not, and nobody wants to make a decision. It's nerve-wracking. Yeah, it's so nerve-wracking. My light keeps going out on my laptop. Strategic ambiguity. Why would leaders use it? To skirt around the real issues, or because they truly have doubt about whatever the case may be, and they know if they bring it to the people, is more than likely going to be a problem, or Why would subordinates engage in strategic ambiguity? Same reasons. A lot of people nowadays, nobody wants to be honest. Nobody wants to tell the truth. Nobody wants to deal with the real hardcore issues, because it makes us uncomfortable. It does. It's kind of hard to go in somewhere and change. A lot of people are not used to change. They're set, and that's just how life is. But if we're going to constantly grow as a nation, as a people, we have to be able to talk, open our mouth, and discuss issues with love, with true passion. We've done our research on what we're discussing. Like, these are the things that's going to make us better. So that's why I believe people use strategic ambiguity. Some people don't want to deal with the hardcore issues, and when you're dealing with the person who wants to deal with it, or a person who wants to talk about it, they come off as too strong. But you're really just trying to solve the problem, so yeah. Why would I use upward distortion with me or a friend, a parent, in regards to a grade? Same reason. Because upward distortion, I just looked that up in my book somewhere. The study investigates relationship between distortion of upward communication needs of subordinates, and it's just because sometimes people are fearful, they have anxiety. Here comes the big boss, here comes the big boss woman or man, and you have something to say, and it's good. Versus talking to that person, you kind of talk about it with everybody else. Just like my kids, they have homework assignments and everything. They'll rather talk about it with themselves than with me. And I'm like, dude, what is it? Let's talk about it. Let's get it done. You have a project or whatever. And they wait till the last minute, and the question said, what was the ultimate result? You end up still talking about it. You end up still coming together and finding a common ground. So in the beginning, we can just kind of miss all the distortion in the communication and go directly to the source. And we just make sure if our hearts are right, if our minds are right, our tone of voice, our body language, everything is in order. We should have no fear as far as communicating with our bosses, our leaders, those who have authority over us in the workplace. It's just a matter of getting the job done, and whatever we have to do to get the job done. My ultimate goal, just like I tell my kids, is not to come down on you. My ultimate goal is to see you succeed, and to see you learn something, and to see you actually applying what you've been given. So when we get kind of fidgety, and I get it, I've been there, as outspoken as I am, as hardcore as I am, and I mean that in a good way, as I am, I always just want to get the job done. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I just want to get the job done. So that is my video diary. I will be viewing you guys' video diaries. I think they're due next week. But have a good night. It's 11:10, and I apologize, but yeah, it's 11:10. Y'all have a good night. Bye.